It's been 1 year since tragedy struck the community of Uvalde. 19 children and 2 teachers killed in their classrooms.
Unthinkable grief still feels fresh. A community forever changed.
Each one of these angels will be always in my heart. Always.
Tonight, we remember the victims. We look into who's been held responsible and who has not.
And we speak to a survivor still processing and his family continuing to fight for change.
Everything to change for no more shootings or anything.
A special edition of KENS 5 News at 10 starts right now.
Today marks 1 year since one of the darkest days in Texas history. A gunman killed 21 people inside 2 Robb Elementary school classrooms. Tonight we mark the somber anniversary of this senseless shooting. We have team coverage tonight. Alicia Nieves will join us in a moment with tonight's Candlelight vigil to honor the victims. And Hannah Tita will share how the Alamo City is paying tribute. But let's start with my co-anchor Henry Ramos, who's anchoring our coverage live from Uvalde. Henry?
He sees a big message and a takeaway tonight: love and a time of great suffering. We've been here all day. Think about that message here at Main Plaza. We've been witnessing humanity here. I mean, look, after 10 o'clock tonight, there are still people here paying their respects on a day, as you mentioned, that reminds us of a very dark day, a day that also changed the lives of several families and this community. As you mentioned, ECs, we have extensive coverage tonight, but tonight I do want to begin with a story of hope, a story of survival, a story of a survivor from room 112, Jaden, who I met 1 year ago, just one day after the shooting at Robb Elementary. And this is an interview that still sticks with me today because of that terrifying account that this young man gave to me. Well, today I want to show you what Jaden looks like. This is a picture that I snapped this morning. Jaden invited me to go to church with him and his family this morning. And at that service, we heard a powerful message that love wins. So tonight, I want to begin to share Jaden's journey 1 year later.
It's a snapping turtle.
A curious 10-year-old, been okay? Who is still trying to adjust a year later. Still a little sad? Angry? Jaden Canizales is a brave survivor of Robb Elementary. He walked out of room 112 alive, unlike many of his friends or teachers.
And I was scared when I saw most of my friends die.
The day after May 24th last year, the then 4th grader shared his story, an interview he bravely wanted to do, an interview I won't forget.
He came in, he says, "It's time to die."
At the time, his parents didn't want to show his face, but Jaden wanted the world to hear.
So I wanted to get all the feelings outside.
A year later, he reflects. Those same feelings are still felt today.
Sad, angry, I'm good, I'm better.
They say a mother knows best.
He has a lot of anger and he has a lot of survivor's guilt.
As Annette Rodriguez is Jaden's loving mom, who says her son is still taking it hard.
I know there's times he does try to, be strong and try not to show it, but I know deep down, like, he's hurting.
A journey to heal almost seems impossible.
You're okay one day and you're not okay one day.
Rodriguez says they are constantly reminded of what happened that dark day.
Receiving emails from the school, it's like, that brings me back memories. Just emails.
Everything to change for no more shootings or anything. There was recently one in a mall.
When you saw that, what did you think?
I was mad.
Jaden and his family's fight for change and journey to heal, far from over.
He felt me. I'm gonna name him Soft Jr.
Very far from over. Jaden still has nightmares. The good thing is he's going to therapy. And he tried to go back to public school, but he couldn't do it. So now he's still in private. One thing I wanted to share is that today after Mass, he showed me a couple of awards that he got from school today. And those awards, one of them was for kindness and the other one was for courage, which is certainly well-deserved. Jaden, in fact, was one of many of the survivors from room 112 that led tonight a vigil here in Uvalde. In fact, 1,000 candles to represent the light of love. I want to bring in my colleague, KENS 5's Alicia Nieves, who was there for these powerful moments. Alicia, take us there tonight.
Henry, the candlelight looked so beautiful at sunset in Uvalde Memorial Park. More than 1,000 people packed the amphitheater, and the vigil opened its doors to the public, which meant people from out of town could go as well. We spoke with people from San Antonio who wanted to attend in show of solidarity.
I don't understand why.
It started with a prayer.
We're here to honor those that we lost so tragically. It's totally unnecessary.
Families of the 19 students and 2 teachers color coordinated, wearing pictures of their loved ones on their shirts. Many who sat nearby didn't know them, but wanted them to know they're not alone.
Most importantly, it's to be with the families that are grieving and to give them support and solace during this tough time, because unfortunately things still haven't changed from a year ago.
I can only imagine.
Following prayer, people joined together in song. 1 year later, the grieving process has still just begun, with hearts still broken for the 21 brave souls.
You know some of them, you've seen them in stores, you've seen them with their mother, with their dads. They're all in heaven. All of them in heaven.
The vigil also honored the other children and teachers across America who lost their lives to gun violence.
I look at the families and what they're still fighting for, and the fact that we have gained so little, in a year, it just breaks my heart.
Advocates say in year 2, they're taking their fight for change to gun laws to the federal level.
I believe that the only way to heal this community is by the community. It's going to take everyday people. Not just the ones that buried a child, but it's going to take everyone.
Candlelight illuminated the park. Carrying the torch were survivors of room 112 at Robb Elementary and teacher Arnulfo Reyes.
We will always be Uvalde strong. We have to be strong. We have to be strong. Uvalde strong. And we will fight for their justice. We will.
There was also a butterfly release at tonight's vigil, which represents life after death. Henry?
Very strong words there. Thanks so much, Alicia. The outpouring love has been seen and felt here. In fact, I actually met a couple right here hours ago who drove here to deliver something special to these families. I want to show you exactly what they made. So the couple is from Pleasanton. They drove here to Uvalde this morning to deliver these handmade crosses here. Each cross you see here was handmade and painted for all 21 victims. The husband and wife say this was a calling from up above to do this as we mark 1 year. Our conversation was here at the plaza, where at one point you felt the emotion from them. Take a listen.
When I saw the news a year ago, it just tore me up. What should have been, should have done, what could have. I felt for these families.
Elia Priestley, who you heard there from, says she feels the family's hurt. She says these are memorial crosses with butterflies and hearts. She says this was God's work. And ECs, tonight we're learning more about how San Antonio is standing with Uvalde.
That's right, Henry. The ripple of sorrow, anger, and even hope for the future being felt 80 miles away. KENS 5 reporter Hannah Tita joins us now with how the Alamo City is showing support. And Hannah, there were many expressions of love tonight.
Yeah, that's right, Isis. 1 year later, the shockwaves of that dark day are being felt right here in San Antonio. Tonight, people linked arms and lifted up prayers. You can see I'm standing in a beautiful tribute along St. Mary's Street. This chalk art took several hours to make, but it's a visible reminder for drivers as they pass that San Antonio mourns with Uvalde. Usually a game for kids is now honoring them. 19 children killed, their 2 teachers also slain. Every step on this hopscotch board is a reminder, like these well-known green Converse.
All we wanted to do was provide a space for people to reflect and heal in some capacity.
Artists spent 8 hours creating this chalk art on St. Mary's Street last night, but when they came back today, it had been washed away. So they vowed to make it better, pouring their hearts into the sidewalk.
And we all have different kind of tools that we can use to hopefully get a conversation going or inspire small change.
The San Antonio Spurs also acknowledging the pain and loss by encouraging people to contribute to the Sport for Healing Fund.
Uvalde strong, Uvalde strong.
Providing counseling services, athletics, and playgrounds. At Last Chance Ministries tonight, many packed into a service, spending the first 21 seconds in silence.
There's nothing that hurts more than seeing innocent babies taken from their families, taken from their grandparents, taken from their parents. And the least that we can do is remember.
In prayer, through words, donations, and art. A promise, San Antonio will remember Uvalde. Hannah Tita, KENS 5.
The demand for accountability remains strong after the inaction to save lives at Robb Elementary. KENS 5's Marvin Hurst takes us through who has been held responsible and who has not.
The darkness feels rooted at a place where pain and reverence has multiplied into crosses. As the cardinal chirps loudly above the scene of mass casualty, so have the cries for accountability for May 24th.
We have to show that we can hold them accountable.
First target seemed to be first-year principal Mandy Gutierrez. She was placed on paid administrative leave on July 25th, accused of not using the school's intercom to warn her school about the shooting and not reporting an untrustworthy lock on one of the classroom doors where the shooter went on a rampage. Gutierrez fought the blame, got reinstated, and gained a new position in the district as Assistant Director of Special Education. Then there's Pete Arredondo.
Y'all hire him, y'all can fire him.
Who said he didn't think that he was the incident commander for the shooting at Robb Elementary School, even though he was the police chief for Uvalde Consolidated ISD. In fact, he told investigators looking into the lack of action from law enforcement, his effort to evacuate was about the preservation of life.
Of course it was not the right decision. It was the wrong decision.
Meantime, teachers and students were at the mercy of an 18-year-old shooter for 77 minutes. Arredondo resigned from his city council seat in July. Then he was fired as police chief on August 25th. Next, a real shocker. Nearly a month and a half later, the Uvalde school system suspended its entire police department after a report the district hired a DPS trooper who responded to the school shooting. Troopers from the Texas Department of Public Safety provide security for the campus now and extracurricular activities. That's until the school systems department rebuilds its force and trust.
We're just going to keep coming up here. Until something is done.
3 days after the police force decision, Superintendent Hal Harrell announced his year-end resignation after battling questions about his leadership. His departure came with cheers from opponents and prayers from those who supported his 31 years in the school district. On November 17th, Lieutenant Mariano Pargas retired from the Uvalde City Police Department. The veteran officer and acting police chief left after a CNN report revealed he knew at least 8 victims were still alive, but did nothing to save them. That's according to the report, even as emergency dispatchers relayed a call over the radio from a 10-year-old student inside of Robb, on the phone with victims around her. But Pargas is still a county commissioner. There's an independent review that revealed that the Uvalde County Sheriff had vital information about the shooter, but did not share it with law enforcement. And a review also found that Ruben Nolasco's deputies did not have an active shooter policy at the time of the mass shooting. He remains on the job.
What we're looking for is accountability.
DPS conducted an internal investigation into 7 troopers who responded to the Uvalde school shooting. 4 were cleared, 1 got fired, 1 resigned, and then got hired as a Uvalde school police officer. She was fired after outrage grew in the community. 91 DPS personnel responded to the shooting, yet they never took charge on May 24th. Calls for DPS Director Steve McCraw to resign produced no results. So, in this place where tragedy met transition, darkness and despair shapes one of life's most crucifying moments, there is light. Name after name after name. Children and teachers at a school becoming angels on a day when no one expected them to gain their wings. In Uvalde, Marvin Hurst, KENS 5.
We have a deeper look at who's been held responsible for the failure at Robb on our website right now, kens5.com.